One more review before the month is over. Halloween Night is directed by and stars J.P. DeStefano, and it's a very good Halloween film, equal to the quality of, say, your Never Hike Alone or your Never Hike in the Snow. As a matter of fact, this is for Halloween fan films what Never Hike Alone was for Friday the 13th fan films. And this is done really well. These people that made the film, they know how to stretch a dollar. JP DeStefano knows how to direct, how to point a camera, and they even knew that this is how long their script is. Would I have liked it if they were able to shoot an hour and a half movie? Yes, but they knew they only had the time and budget for this script, and they didn't do a lot of padding, so it wasn't like Friday the 13th Vengeance, which, though being a good fan film, would have been 10 times better without all the padding in the movie. And they could have easily done that with this film, but they would have sacrificed the quality of the film. And they didn't do it. The director's wife is also in this movie playing his character's wife. And I think that works because they, even though they're not in that many physical scenes together, there's points where they talk on the phone, and they do have that natural back and forth energy together, and it works really well. As well as this movie has a very good Michael Myers, even though some people may not like the mask. It's not one of the cheap replica masks, but it's not one of your $300-400 replicas either. It's somewhere in the middle. It looks good enough, but it looks better in low light. This mask in medium or highlight, that's where you're going to have issues. As well as this film has a great stalking Michael Myers. In fact, in the opening scene, we see him stalking two trick-or-treaters. And this scene was tense. It had me on the edge of my seat. He's following these kids. While he's doing it, he goes to a couple houses and kills people, but he always comes back to following them. And like one of the people he kills, we see is on the phone with someone that comes into play later, as well as another person he kills was also on the phone with someone that comes into play later. And eventually, when these kids get home, their babysitter has her boyfriend over, and they're watching a horror movie, which later you see, you have to look carefully, but the way it's shot, you see about this much of the screen on down. They're watching Jason Goes to Hell, and there's a fun conversation between the two where she's like ragging on the film and the effects, and the boyfriend's like, that's because you're used to that MCU CGI stuff. And it's a fun debate about practical versus computer effects that those of us that prefer practical, I'm sure, have had a million times. And using the MCU is a great example because there are so many times they use CG when it could have been done practical. Case in point, the final battle in Black Panther. That whole thing was CG. Could you have just had them in actual costumes with a choreographed fight? No, it had to be CG. But that's another debate. But I do like that scene, and it's a relatable conversation. We've all been there before. And when he gets to this house, he kills the boyfriend, he kills the babysitter, and we hear one of the kids call the babysitter, and we don't know what happened. And I like that. It's so much more chilling than have we known one way or the other. You know, the unanswered mysteries we'll remember in the end, and that seems even more unnerving because of it. Now, the two characters that were on the phone with the main character's wife, who is an actress. and she's got an audition. She needs to do a video audition, and she needs someone to read the lines off for her. And she's calling her friends trying to get it done. And they're all busy, so she calls her husband wanting him to take off early, which he can't do. But it's interesting. Michael kills someone in the warehouse he works at in the beginning of the movie, and it's kind of funny that the body laid there the whole time and no one noticed. Even he doesn't notice. But this is what I love. The main character is Dr. Loomis's grandson, and this film pays so much respect to Dr. Loomis and Donald Pleasance. He can't get off work early, and the first thing he says is, "It's too bad my granddad isn't around." He basically, "I know he'd drop everything to help you in a heartbeat." And I like that because that's this character's, how he remembers his grandfather as someone who would go out of his way to help people. And that was Loomis in the films. In Halloween 4, in the diner garage scene, he told Michael, "Don't go to Haddonfield. If you want another victim, take me, but please leave those people in peace." He was willing to die for a town that literally hates him. In Halloween 6, the theatrical cut, it's implied he gets killed by Michael in the end. He goes back into Smith Grove when he had no obligation, and he pays for it. But that was Loomis. In this film, pays that much respect. You also have audio clips of Loomis's voice in the film, and they couldn't have done that any better. It's more respectful to the past than Halloween 2018 was. Why they made some of the decisions they did in that film, I'll never know. And we get a great finale in this film that I just have one nitpick. A revolver would never be able to fire that many bullets, but it's still a great film. I'm leaving the link in the description, and I hope you enjoy. I'm giving this film an A+. Production quality is really good. The writing's good. Cinematography, everything's on point. If this film was an hour and a half and you showed it to someone who didn't know the series and said this came out in the theaters, they'd probably believe you. So, like, share, comment, subscribe. Over and out.